Welcome everyone to the Legends MX track at Rhino Park near Pretoria, where dealers and press have gathered for the launch of the 2023 KTM motocross range. Of course, I would be happy to launch myself over the biggest triple tabletop whoops step up on the circuit, but I find having more than one wheel leaving the ground unnatural. So we have veteran motocrosser Dylan Smith helping us out. Until now, the KTM group has boasted that it has the most advanced MX lineup in the world, and the results back it up. They have won 5 AMA Supercross titles since 2015 and 30 of 51 possible world motocross titles since 2000. That means that the fact that they have now completely redesigned their entire motocross range means that they are overachievers, inconsiderately making us mediocre working people feel inadequate. Something for which I shall never forgive them. But indeed, the 2023 range is completely new.
The whole bike is actually, for once, it feels like a whole new bike from front to back.
The range of full-size MX bikes is neatly separated into 3 4-strokes and 3 2-strokes. And it seems that KTM's biggest goal for the year is to redeem themselves for overachieving by making bikes more suited to the lazy and unfit. Much of the engineering energy has gone into saving riding energy so riders can push harder for longer. The steel frames are obviously new, designed to increase traction and stability, but they're also designed to be stronger so that mad nutters can slam into jumps without snapping them in half, something that apparently did happen. The new WP suspension helps, with hydro stops designed to make it work better when it's bottomed out, because the rider is still being a nutter. More so, there are less tools required, on the bike and in the pits.
But the nice bit on the bikes is now you can adjust them with no tools. So you literally just flick it over the hand, to get the high-speed dampening or the compression on them.
All this means is that the bikes don't sap too much energy from the riders, who can afford more laziness. But that's not all. In MX, much of the control comes through the foot pegs.
And then you feel a big difference with the foot pegs. They've gone bigger, they're higher, so they don't hook in corners anymore. And it actually feels, you've got a lot more control. It's easier. You don't easily miss, or if you kind of get out of control, you find a foot peg immediately, So it makes a huge difference, the new and improved foot pegs on the bike.
Mostly, the 4-strokes have been designed to be lighter, have better mass centralization, and be easier to ride. Again, playing into the lazy man's hand.
You could feel a difference with the motors, just the positioning of it. If you came into a corner or came a bit hot into a corner, everything's like center of gravity, everything's in the middle of the bike. So you can literally feel where the bike's going to tuck or turn. Nothing's a surprise, so that makes a huge difference on the bike.
But the 4-stroke highlights feature less of the motor and more of the electronics. They have thrown in the 2 different rider modes, traction control and launch control, that were debuted on previous models, but for these ones have been better refined. But the big new electronic addition to the 4-strokes though is an up-changing quick shifter, a first on MX bikes, and something they've certainly taken their time to introduce. I mean, road bikes have had them for 13 years now. That's the 4-strokes, but KTM are one of the few manufacturers still developing 2-strokes, and it's no different for 2023.
I'd have to say the 2-strokes. The 2-strokes, hand down, are total different kettle of fish. I think they got an absolute winner. No more, fuel injection, no more needing to battle with jetting and stuff. So yeah, absolutely the 2-strokes.
So fuel injection across the range. That'll measure the surrounding air and determine the best fuel mixture, regardless of whether you're riding up Everest or into the deep sea depression. The rider, or more importantly the rider's dad, won't have to keep fiddling with messy jets and needles. More so, all the 2-strokes have electric starters, so no more having to start the little one's bike after he stalls the blasted thing again. They also have new reed valves and new electric power valves for better power across the rev range. And while the 4-strokes impressed, most people at the launch spoke about the little smokers. While we say little, we haven't mentioned the new Big Daddy. In motocross, beyond the MX1 class that is limited to 450 4-strokes or in some cases 250 2-strokes, some places also have an open class, where nutter motorcycles like the new 300 can race. It's the most powerful two-stroke in the KTM range, and more so, delivers that power in typical demonic two-stroke fashion.
Okay, one of the bikes I'm not going to lie, which I'm absolutely petrified of, is the 300. I always figured I would be a 300 or 500 fan, but the 300 is absolutely awesome. It's a beast of note. It actually felt to me quicker than the 450. I think it would be nice around the longer tracks, but I think the older we get, the 300 is a handful around tire tracks, so it is freaking awesome. But yeah, it is a beast. It's gonna catch you.
So, this is the new MX range, brought to you by the annoying overachievers in Austria, and designed not just for the overachieving MX racers, but also for the unfit weekend warrior. Maybe I will give one a go one day, when I'm less terrified of heights.
An amazing amount of technology in MX bikes these days. When I started this job, even the most exclusive of superbikes didn't have all this electronic trickery. It's all very impressive, I have to say. And I have to say thanks to Dylan and Don for bringing us that report on the new KTMs. That's it for this week. Hopefully we'll catch you again next week when we'll have, not sure exactly, but it will definitely involve bikes. See you then.